Hi there, welcome to Colcester Model Railway. Just a little short film this time. It's really a bit of a catch up on what's been happening with the shed. So since March, when we first finalised the site for the shed and we started laying out the foundations for it, we lifted up the old flagstones of a previous shed that had been on the site and started to level out the ground so that it could be relaying these existing slabs yet again. We had a major problem in the fact that we had a huge tree stump at one end near the fence, and this had to be removed. Thankfully, my neighbour at the time was working on his garden and he had a mini digger, and he and his friend decided they were going to have a go at that tree stump for us and remove it, which was a great help because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to tackle that. Now, as I said, the previous shed base was completely lifted up. And what we did first of all, after we'd levelled the site off as best we could, we set about putting the slabs down very roughly just so that we could see how much space we were working with. Obviously the site had been measured out so that we knew we could fit the shed in, but we just wanted to see where it would fall in line with the actual flagstones that we had left over. So once all this was done, we decided that we would then set about obviously getting the floor down properly. Now the plan was to use the larger slabs that we had, which were roughly about 2 by 2, and we were going to use those for a majority of the main base. We had to borrow 2 slabs from the front of the house down by the driveway. That was already decided within the plan, and then we brought those around to the back and put them in with the mix. So I think there was something in the region of around about 22 slabs in total that we had for the floor. After that, around about sort of late April, we started to get the floor down, and in a short space of time we actually did manage to complete it. My friend Chris Sweet and myself tackled the majority of this ourselves. We put down some sharp sand and the ground sheet as well, and also sort of put down some grout in between the flagstones to sort of firm them up. This wasn't like a final phase for it, though. We did have to do some tweaking on that. So around about early June, with the floor more or less in place, we decided to place the order for the new shed. Now the new shed was going to be slightly larger than my previous Mark III layout shed, and as you can see from this plan, we have a design here for a 12-foot long shed by a 10-foot wide shed. So this was going to have 4 windows at the front, a door at the apex end, and 2 security windows at the back. It was also going to be fitted with a rubber roof, and more on that later. So on the 7th of July, the guys from Telesheds came along and erected the shed on the site. Incredibly hot day, but they tackled it nonetheless. The shed come in sections. So the first bit they brought in was the floor, the wooden floor base. That basically slotted together, and then they started to bring in the sort of shed sides and the gable ends. Once they got one gable end in place, they brought in the side panels and started to fix the side panels in. By this point, as you can see in the film, they were pretty much finished there. They had one roof panel to put in place and one side panel to go in place as well. Once that was done, obviously the shed looked a little bit like this. So it was a very sort of clean and pine looking shed. Didn't have its sort of rubber roof on by this point, and the windows still were not glazed. But after that, it was obviously completed and the rubber roof was put on. Now, the rubber roof doesn't need to be replaced at all. It won't perish like a felt one will. And it actually is something new to me. I had not known about this before. So this was, something I wanted to sort of try out on this shed. So having a quick look on the interior here, so you can see it's quite a large interior space for this shed. These are the two security light windows at the back. Those were an idea that I borrowed from the Mark III shed that had 3 of those on one side. And I thought it'd be a good idea to have those on that side near the hedge, because they'd still allow some light into the building on that side. But you didn't really need to have the full-size windows because you'd only see a hedge. So now that the glazing is all in place in here, as you can see, the security light windows there are all glazed up, and so are the 4 windows on the other side of the shed, which obviously provide a view down towards the house. And you can see there basically just making out the 2 separate panels that make up the 2 window lights with a central strip down the middle. And that view down to the house obviously is very much needed, because we need to be able to see out into the garden, because eventually you'll have tracks running out into the garden from that side anyway, so you need to see where the trains are. The tricky bit is this bit around the back here. It always was going to be a bit of a problem because it is quite snug up to the hedgerow. This bit around this gable end is not too bad, and obviously this is the front of the shed again, looking from the outside with the fully glazed windows in place. So yeah, it all came together on that day, and it stayed looking like a pine shed for quite some time whilst we sorted a few things out. But then on the 24th of August this year, we got some preservative paint, and we set about painting the shed. So we got a rather nice colour. It was called Red Cedar, and it went on with about a couple of coats on there. Again, it was a pretty warm day, so the coats were pretty much drying as soon as you put them on. So you had to be fairly quick and obviously do this, in a couple of sort of strokes, and then move on to another bit and do another bit. So yes, it was quite an intensive job to do. I'd also been around the shed previously and masked up all the windows with some newspaper on them, masked over the signage on the front of the shed as well. And I'd been around with some wood filler just to have a look at some of any little knot holes or blemishes around the outside of the shed, and I filled those in as well prior to the painting. So as you can see, the colour blended in really well. It took that sort of bright sort of pine look away from the shed and has given it a bit more of like a well, obviously a treated and sort of better look for it. So the entire shed is now completely done. What remains now is mostly interior stuff. We will be fitting some gutter into the outside, but most of the work is now going to be based on the interior, and insulation boards will be going in soon, and we're going to start putting those inside, ready for the winter months. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again sometime soon. Bye.